What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Tavern Talk. So whether you're a classic Andy or a retail fanboy, we all know that using add-ons when playing WoW actually make the experience a lot better. There's tons of quality of life improvements and things that'll just help you grasp and gain your footing in the game at a faster pace. So I've compiled a list of my 10 favorite add-ons I think you all should be using in WoW Classic Season of Mastery. Let's dive in. Alright guys, so first up on our list of useful add-ons here, we have Questie. Now, basically in Classic WoW and in TBC, there is no like quest tracking system other than tracking them on the sides of your screen. So when you pick up quests, you will actually have to read them or Google them or look up on Wowhead where you have to actually do the quest. Now, if you have Questie installed, as you can see right here on the right side of my screen, we have this tracker that I can drag around and kind of put anywhere that I want. And what it does is if the quest is within 2 levels of you, it will be yellow, same as like, you know, mob levels. If it's lower level, it'll be green, and then if it's a little bit higher level, 3 or more, it'll be orange. So it shows you the difficulty of the quest, and if you click on the quest, it'll pop up right here in your quest log like normal. If you open your map, this is the best part, it'll show you where to go to complete those quests. Now, if you have not used Questie in the past, this is going to change your life when you're playing Season of Mastery because it just speeds up the leveling process like so much. So it's an absolute necessity. And another cool feature is it'll show you where there are quests that you can pick up on the map, and it will obviously give you their level right next to them. So Questie is definitely ranking in at number 1, the best add-on for WoW Classic Season of Mastery. If you haven't used it before, make sure you go download it. Alright, so coming in at number 2, we have Details. Now, Details is a damage meter, healing meter, death count meter, you name it. You can track basically anything in any dungeon, any raid, or even out in the open world with this add-on. So to enable the add-on to be shown, once you've installed it, you just type /details show, and you can see mine is already enabled right here. You can click these little arrows to drag and change the size, and then obviously go down here and you can choose if you want it to show DPS, damage taken, friendly fire, healing meters, resource meters right here, and then even if you go into miscellaneous, you have tons of other things. You can see how many people interrupted or broke CCs or how many people died, things like that. It's super useful, but for the majority of people, if you're trying to just use it as a DPS meter, you change it to DPS. And another cool little feature here, if you click the little settings wheel, there's different skins you can use. One of the cool ones is the WoW interface skin. Kind of changes it to look like it fits in with the WoW interface, which is pretty cool. So now it's tracking DPS right now. So if you look, when I attack this mob, you'll see it start tracking my DPS. Okay, so right now, if we're just auto-attacking, we're doing 123, around, you know, low hundreds DPS, and it will show everyone in your group and everyone in the raid, and you can have multiple of these windows open at the same time. So if you want to track DPS, if you want to track healing, and you want to track how many people are interrupting, you can, you know, open multiple windows by going here and clicking window control, create new window, and then, you know, put them all over your screen wherever you want, and kind of track everything that you want. If you head down to plugins right here, you have Tiny Threat. If you want to have a threat window showing, you know, who is next on threat under your tank, and then so on and so on and so on. Definitely a super useful add-on. And then if, let's say, you're out questing in the world and you don't want it to be visible anymore, you just type /details, hide, and it will disappear. To bring it back, it's /details show. All right, so next up on our list here, we have DBM, or Deadly Boss Mods. This add-on is extremely useful. Basically, every dungeon encounter, every, you know, boss encounter out in the open world, world bosses, raid encounters, it will announce as a raid warning in the middle of your screen every spell that the boss is casting. It'll announce phase changes. It'll sometimes tell you to run away from the boss or what to do with a little, you know, a little siren or a horn warning. And I find it extremely useful. Everyone should have this installed, even if you're doing some, you know, lower level dungeons and you've never done them before. This will help you to understand any mechanics that are happening and kind of take out 50% of the possibility of you making an error due to a boss mechanic. So Deadly Boss Mods is definitely an important add-on that you guys should all have. Alright guys, so the next one up here on the list is a gathering add-on called Gathermate 2. And basically what this add-on does is, if you can see my mini-map here, it shows you locations of mining or herbalism nodes, wherever they would be in that zone. So right now I'm in Searing Gorge, and as you can see, there would be a fire bloom here, but if we're here right now, it's not here. It will respawn at some point in time. If you open your map, you can see on the map where all the nodes are, so you can kind of make yourself a little route and ride along that route and pick up all the nodes along the way. You can also turn off like the mini map icons if you don't want them on there and you only want them on the big map, but I like them on both when I'm doing gathering runs, and it makes it pretty good because you can kind of figure out a nice little run that you can do and loop in a circle, and this way you're not walking and running to places where there aren't any nodes anyways. Next up on our list here, we have Auctionator. So basically what Auctionator does is it gives you these 3 extra tabs down here: buy, sell, and more. And what happens is if you hit buy, let's say I want to buy silk cloth and hit search, it'll scan the auction house for all the silk cloth. You don't want bolts, you want silk cloth, and now it'll show us every single auction available for silk cloth. So it's so much easier. You just click right here, see it's telling us there's 98 stacks of 20 silk cloth. We can just hit the buy button and buy this as many times as we want. So it makes purchasing things in bulk a lot easier. And then another really cool feature that it has is the selling feature. So basically what it will do is if I wanted to, let's say, sell this major healing potion, you click and you drag it into here, it'll scan the auction house, it'll undercut the item by 5% and give you the buyout price, and you just hit create auction. Now, if I had a stack of, let's say, these mana potions right there, so it's a stack, I want to do 2 stacks of 1, or if I want to do 1 stack of 2, it'll change the price accordingly. Super useful. And the next thing you guys want to do with Auctionator is you want to, the first time you install it, I do this once every 2 days basically, come in here and click full scan and then click start scan. And what this is going to do is it's going to scan the entire auction house and create a database so that when you're out in the open world and you hover over an item, it'll tell you, you see how it says auction right under the vendor price, it'll tell you what it's currently going for on the auction house. You don't need to be at an auction house to check the price. What we have next here, guys, is Character Stats Classic, and this is super useful, especially going to be, it's especially going to be useful in Season of Mastery. So basically what this does is it gives you little drop downs in your character stats panel, so you can go from change the actual stats and you can see more stats. So basically if we wanted to see like our ranged hit rating or hit chance, crit chance, all that, which is not available to be seen in the actual regular Blizzard UI, you get those numbers with this. You can change it to melee if you're melee, you can change it to spell damage if you're a caster, and you can change it to ranged if you're like a hunter or something like that. And if you're tanking, you can see all your defensive stats right there. So Character Stats Classic is super useful, and I think everyone absolutely needs to have this installed right off the bat. Next up on the list here, guys, we have Vendor Price. This is a quick add-on to install, and it's just a nice little quality of life improvement that you can definitely use while leveling up your character, because you're going to want to have the most amount of raw gold possible while you're leveling. So it's called Vendor Price. You install it, and basically all it is if you hover over an item in your inventory, as you can see there, it'll show you the price at which you can vendor that item for. Works for literally everything, pieces of gear. It'll tell you if it's not able to be sold to a vendor. So definitely check out Vendor Price as well. Next on our list here, guys, we have Atlas Loot Classic. This is obviously, I'm sure a lot of you know what it is. It's basically an add-on that allows you to check the loot that drops in all the dungeons and world bosses in the game. And you can even check PvP gear, faction reputation gear, and item upgrades and things like that. But mainly it's used especially for tracking like what bosses drop certain things, especially when you get later on into the end game. Like you could check Blackrock Spire and check, you know, what's the drop rate of these shoulders. You can check right here, True Strike shoulders drop 11.43% chance to drop off that boss. So basically Atlas Loot is something that's just a huge quality of life improvement, and it allows you to check the loot that drops off every boss in every dungeon, every world boss around the game. You can even check crafting recipes in here. So like, let's say you want to check blacksmithing and you want to see what maces you can craft and when, it'll show you all of that. So Atlas Loot Classic is definitely a must-have for everybody. Next up on our list here, guys, we have Trade Skill Master. This is basically an add-on that works with your professions. And what it will do is it will scan the auction house and then calculate what items you can craft with your profession that will give you the highest amount of profit. So for an example, let's say we want to craft Arcanite bars here. The crafting cost, as you can see, is 4 gold, 37 silver if we buy the materials off the auction house. The item value is 7 gold, 80 silver, and the profit we will get for crafting one with buying the mats on the auction house is 3 gold, 47 silver. So you can obviously use this add-on to kind of bank tons of gold by crafting items that are selling for a lot more than it costs to make them. So Trade Skill Master is an absolute necessity for anyone trying to have a good amount of gold in Season of Mastery, which I think is going to be everybody. Next up on our list here, we have OmniCC, which will be extremely useful in Season of Mastery. Basically, if you use any of your cooldowns like I'm doing right here, it will give you countdown timers and show you when that cooldown will be popping up. That is not built into the Blizzard UI, especially in vanilla days. So OmniCC is something that will give you countdown timers on all your abilities and show you exactly how much time is left before you can cast that ability again. Super useful in all types of combat, PvE, PvP. You always want to know the cooldown on your abilities. All right, guys, so that about wraps it up. Those are my 10 favorite add-ons that I think all of you would benefit from using in Season of Mastery. I'm pretty hyped to play Season of Mastery. I can't wait, and I hope that you guys found this video helpful. And if you did, hit that like button. It really does help me out. And subscribe to the channel. Turn on those post notifications. We're going to be posting a lot of content going forward. And if you want to follow me on Twitch and catch me live, you can do that at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I usually stream Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, so you can catch me over there. But anyways, guys, that's all from me. Take care.